Okay, so with this week, we're going to work on the background. So we have here a hint of two people sitting in the back. I darkened a bit the figures using a bit of black. And right now I'm using burnt umber and ivory black, and I'm going to darken this part a little bit more. This part is it's away from the window. So what I'm trying to do is where the area where it's away from the window, I'm trying to make it a little bit darker. And then we will highlight a bit the figures in here. And then we'll take it from there. So, all right, just a little bit. Let's keep this part burnt umber, no black, because there's a window in there. So this is burnt umber and this is ivory black. All right. If you don't have, I know I'm using a color now. It could be any color. It doesn't have to be the titanium buff. It doesn't have to be titanium buff. It could be if you have even white, just a tiny bit of white is fine for what I'm going to do next. I'm just going to use a tiny bit of, or actually, if you use white and burnt umber and a bit of black, that will work too. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a little bit of black. Titanium buff, it's like using burnt umber and white. So I'm going to take this color with the brown black, and I'm going to put a bit of titanium buff in it. So put a bit of white in your brown and black. And I'm just going to one of the figures that's sitting in the front, because there's like I think two people in here. With the dry brush, I'm just going to give this one here in the front a bit of kind of a hint that this person is standing, and this in front of this one in the back. So there are two people, one in the back, one in the front. And that's just enough for me. I mean, personally, if you like to add that person, like put the colors, what they're wearing, whatever, you're welcome to do this. But I just want to keep it very simple in the back, not a lot of detail. So I can keep making sure that she is the focal point. All right, that's fine. That's good. You can hardly see it. I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I've done. So this is how it looks. That's a combination of black and burnt umber with a bit of titanium buff, or black and burnt umber with a bit of white. And it's a dry brush. It's just to show a silhouette of someone standing there. We don't have to be detailed. Now, the next step is putting all of those little dots of lights, the hint of light. So for this, I'm using yellow ochre and a bit of white and some black and white. So I'll give you some time to put those two figures, and when you're done, we'll move on to the lights behind. Okay, for the lights, we're going to use yellow ochre and white. So first, I'm going to use yellow ochre with no white, just to place my colors, the lights. So we're going to put the suggestion of all of these lights and dots and glasses, reflection, and, you know, just kind of more like a suggestion. It's like this. So let's do with a round brush. I'm just going to put a dot here. And it doesn't have to look like anything specific. Actually, this is the fun part because you don't have to worry about anything. You just put colors and dots and different sizes of dots. Sometimes it's something like this, just a dry brush. Put another one here. Longer one right here. Dot. Okay, now a row of little dots right next to each other.
Is it angled?
No, just my brush didn't cooperate.
Mm.
Now it's more like this. The ones in the back, I'm gonna put a bit of a hint of a reflection. Again, with the ones in front. And some here over the head, right there. And it's kind of a bunch of dots and just kind of random brushstroke. I'm going to use the same thing inside this lamp. And now I know why my brush is not cooperating. It's too dry. All right. Now, again, a bit here. Line, dot, another line in yellow, because we're going to add now some in gray. But just for now, we're just establishing we're working with the yellow ones. Now, next step, I'm going to take white, put it in my yellow ochre, mix the white in, and I'm going to go in and inside the yellow ochre that I put in there, I'm going to put a tiny bit of white just to give it that sparkle. Same thing for these ones. Mm-hmm. Yeah, behind the counter there is a bartender. Now, while we're still doing this, I'm just going to take white and black, ivory black and white. Ivory black has a little bit of blue in it, a hint of blue. And I'm going to come here and just add a little bit of that ivory black and white, certain areas. So it's not all yellow. I'm going to add a tiny bit of burnt umber in the same color, in the same ivory black and white. All right, and now on this side as well. And that is kind of will just give me a hint of the head and the shoulders of that person standing here. I'm going to pause in a minute. And then we'll come back to this. Okay, now we're going to use burnt sienna and yellow ochre. So I mixed a bit of yellow ochre in my burnt sienna. And first of all, I'm going to put burnt sienna on this. And I would like to add a little bit of yellow ochre as well, because this burnt sienna is a bit kind of, it's nice, but dull. So let's make it a little bit more vibrant. Right, good. All right, a little bit more, just burnt sienna, so it's not all the same color while it's still wet. All right, that looks good. Now, same with the same brush, I'm going to take burnt sienna, yellow ochre mixed, and I'm going to add touches of that burnt sienna here and there in the back. So it's not only, it just gives it a warm color in there. It's not only just yellow. That's awesome. It's good. Okay. Bulb. I'm going to take white and yellow ochre. Mix it. It's like a light, soft white. I put it here. And if I find by the time it's dry that it is a bit too strong, stark, I can tone it down at that point. But I'm going to just kind of put the first layer for now, let it dry, and I'll come back to it. This is a bit too much. And of course, you're seeing it stronger on the monitor because of the light in the studio here. So I will tone it down. And actually, I will tone it down right now. I'm going to take yellow ochre, and tone it down here. Let it dry. I'll come back to it. Now, I have burnt sienna here, and I'm going to take this burnt sienna, and I'm going to try to add a suggestion of, actually change my brush, add a suggestion of a counter in the back, but with burnt sienna only. And I'll see if it's too strong, and I'll tone it down with burnt umber. Yeah, that's too strong. Let's take a bit of burnt umber, tone it down. Yeah, that's better. Right. Meanwhile, I'm going to take burnt umber, mix it with burnt sienna that I have here. Or actually just burnt umber for the first layer. I'll show you what I'm going to do here. I want to put burnt umber here on this chair. There's a chair here that shows behind her. Let's cover this. We're going to cover it with burnt sienna after, but I don't want to put burnt sienna right away in there. It's like a brown, it's like a red brown.
So you put burnt umber there?
Yes, burnt umber. Sorry. Yes, it is burnt umber. and one here on the chair she's sitting on. You know, the first, the one that I showed you, the one it's done with gouache, I worked on black, so I don't really have to darken anything. It's right there. It's the paper is dark already. It's black. So all I have to do is put the whatever color I want. But this works too. This is actually better than working on black. So I'm just putting burnt umber on these chairs. And then we're going to let it dry. And then we'll come back and highlight with burnt sienna and burnt umber. Okay, that's good. Do you want me to give you some time to do this?
Yes, please.
All right.
Mhm.
All right. We're just gonna, what I'm gonna do is just kind of highlight a little bit this bulb. It's dry now. The paint is dry. So I'm using white and yellow ochre. Okay, that's it. Right, so now I'm gonna, what I'm going to do is use burnt sienna on the chairs. So I have a dark burnt umber in here, and I'm going to try to see if I use just burnt sienna, the one I have right now. And if it's too red, yeah, that's too red. I'm gonna mix it with, then I'm gonna tone it down with burnt umber. And I'd like this part to be slightly darker here. So if I want to darken it, I'm just going to use burnt umber. There. Again, burnt umber, burnt sienna. It will dry darker anyway, but just don't want to take a chance. It just should look like it's brown, but it's reddish brown. Right. For this one, it's mostly the one that is the part that is in front of the door. So I'm going to take brown again, and I'm going to keep trying to keep the part that's in front of, behind, or right there, darker. So even if I have to use a tiny bit of black with my burnt umber just to darken it, that'll be okay there. I don't want the whole chair to come forward. So the the chair, this leg right here, this goes all the way down. The side of it is darker. So if we use a little bit, I'll show you, if you use a little bit of brown and black, you will see that the side is slightly darker. And then this part here, the stretcher that's from here to here, stops there. It stops where the dark is. It doesn't connect with this part. Now, this is really a minor detail. You don't really have to worry too much about it, but it's a nice detail. Now, the same thing I'm going to do here for this part, the seat. And right here in the back. And then what I'm going to do is fix all of this eventually, or maybe now. Yeah, I can use some yellow ochre. I'm going to put brown with my yellow ochre. I'll just go in the back here, maybe more brown. Yeah. And in between, this is negative painting. So the negative painting is going to give me this shape of the chair. And then from there, I can adjust. Let me see if I can see that on the monitor. Kind of. This is like a brown with a bit of yellow ochre. And it's more like it's a glaze, so it's not heavy. All right. At this point, I can see a bit more of the chair in terms of detail, so I can fix anything that needs to be adjusted. For the back legs, I'm going to add a little bit of black because I want to push them back. I don't want them to look like exactly the same as the leg and stretchers that are in the front of the chair. So I added black to my brown. It's not just black, it's black and brown. Okay. Yeah. You can see it better this way. I just put the lights on. And the next step is just taking burnt sienna and highlighting the side of the chairs. And I'll show you where. I mean here, to give it a bit of thickness. Not the one in the back, this one.
Did you add white?
No, just burnt sienna, nothing else. Would dry darker. Do the same here and here. And really, that's it. No need to do anything else. Actually, next time we're gonna meet, we'll do the door behind her and this door here, which is, you know, as a first layer for that one here, yellow ochre. Let's see if we need to add a tiny bit of brown with this yellow ochre. I have a feeling we do. Let's add brown, burnt umber, yellow ochre, and then just cover this door. I'm going to zoom out. Right, for the door on the left, I'm using yellow ochre and burnt umber for a base. And then what we'll do when we come back is highlight one part or darken one part, because this door shouldn't be heavy. It shouldn't take over. It should be there, but not a heavy paint kind of. It's first of all, it is a warm color, so it will come forward, but at the same time, it is not a focal point. So, and we don't want it to be a focal point. So let's just do a layer of cover all this in yellow ochre and burnt umber. A little bit of burnt umber all the way down. Okay, this is where we are at, and next week there is no class. We will continue this project the week after. Enjoy painting. This I'm enjoying it. Really, it's a nice project. All right.